Hi.
Hi.
Hi guys. My name is Shulac. I'm just here as a support system. This outlet is hers, so let's make her shine.
No. Yeah. Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Purity and Shulac. I'm so glad to have you back. I'm Purity Mbogwa.
And I'm Shulac Mbogwa. I am one half of the Awesome Twosome podcast. The Awesome Twosome podcast is a youthful and vibrant podcast. YouTube channel pia ni the Awesome Twosome podcast. We talk about basically anything and everything. We address a lot of issues. I'm also one half of Purity and Shulac, which is us.
Yes.
We are a family, not like a couple, just a family. We are siblings. And thank you for joining this amazing space. Today we are talking about
Today we're talking about life after campus.
life after campus.
Life after campus. And by the way, guys, this was inspired. I wanted to do this, but at a different time. But when I saw you guys do it on the Awesome Twosome podcast, I was like, yes, maybe this is the perfect time to.
It's go time.
It's go time. let's emphasize on expectations and reality of life after campus.
Yep, because there are many expectations. It seems like everybody thinks it's a walk in the park because you have the papers with you. You now deserve a spot.
Yeah.
The employers, both the private sector and the public sector, you feel like they owe you a spot in the industry because
Correct.
why not? I've spent maybe 2 years, 3 years for diploma, 4 years for degree,
Yes.
and maybe a year for certificate. Either way, that's a lot of time in class doing my things.
Yeah.
So why are you not giving me this opportunity?
Correct.
Mm.
And it's crazy. I know for me, when I finished campus, my expectation was I would get a job immediately. Like it wouldn't be a struggle.
Which should be the case, by the way.
It should be the case. And also learning and through high school and even campus, I didn't hear many people complain of lack of jobs.
Exactly.
I never had it within my family. Or is it because they work in the public sector? Majority?
But it's still tricky to get a job in the public sector.
Yeah.
Like right now. For instance, we have a cousin who did medicine.
Yeah.
You remember he had it rough
Yes.
before he got a spot. But then, I mentioned this in the Awesome Twosome podcast. Our dad always reminds us that during their days, it was way much easier.
Yes.
Like for him, they were done. Was it like a graduation or just a celebration in the evening? They had a whole party.
Yeah.
He was at cooperative.
Yes.
They had a whole party. Then the following week, they were all posted.
And actually, maybe I have also heard before you were done with school, the government it would be looking for people to work.
Right.
So you didn't have to wait to graduate for you to start working.
For them, they didn't tarmac really.
Per se, yes.
But I think mom did tarmac.
Yeah.
I think she had a rough.
But she never talks about it though. I might just ask her.
And even when she highlights it, it's not like that bad in comparison to
what we have now.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because nobody tells you that life after campus will be tough. Nobody tells you that when you're studying and you have all this free time, go look for an internship while you are studying.
Make those connections. Have those contacts.
Yeah. It's crazy. And so for me, I was done with campus, and my next move was, let's start looking for a job. So I started working on my CV. I always wanted to work in audit, and I had tried before applying online, but there were no responses. And so now it goes to a point I was thinking, okay, what I need to do is take myself physically. So where did I go? Deloitte.
I remember.
Myself and a friend of mine, we took ourselves to Deloitte. And something also that you mentioned in Twosome podcast, gone are the days where companies receive physical CVs.
You can't even get through the at
can't.
times you can't even get to the reception.
Correct.
You are turned away at the gate.
Yes.
They're like, what are you here to see? I'm here to drop my CVs. To whom in particular? At the reception.
Yeah.
Kwanani? They're like, okay, just leave your CVs.
Yeah.
We'll make sure they get to them.
And they probably never do.
I think they just use them for, maybe to later find the evening, maybe.
Nobody, I think, apart from some government jobs where they require for you to drop the CVs at the gate, and it's at a particular box, right?
It's not like you will get to the
No, you just go
office or
drop
anyone.
and move, drop and move. And for those, you find the number of people who are applying for those jobs are crazy number of people. And so for me, that's where the frustration began. And so I was like, okay, maybe not too bad. Let me start applying for internships. Go on the internet.
Wait, at Deloitte, what happened? Did you manage to get in?
Yeah, we went at the reception. We were like, we'd like to apply for a job. And they were like, okay, now what you want to do is online. And so with these firms, their intakes are at specific times. Especially because now you're looking for an entry level job or a graduating trainee. So these are positions where you do not need to have experience. But with how they have their intakes, it's like every year they will have one intake.
Just like joining campus.
Yes. So now we just had to go back. Yeah.
So after Deloitte, the online way now.
So now I was like, okay, let's look for internships now. Crazy enough, you will apply for an internship and you will not get a response.
No regret, no nothing.
No regret, no nothing.
And that's why at times I say, I wish there was something like a blue tick or
Sure.
email. Yeah. Like the way when you send me a text on WhatsApp, you'll know whether I've seen it or not.
Yeah.
Because the emails at times can be frustrating.
It can be very frustrating because you're like, okay, fine, I'm applying. It's just an internship. But even that you cannot get. And so after that, the pressure had not started kicking in, but slowly it was starting to build up. And so what, for me, I was a bit lucky. Dad had a few circles he was working with. Connections. And so he went, he spoke to a few people, and I got a chance to get an internship.
So for you did not like stay out for long?
I didn't stay out for long. Not for long. But they also took time
to get your spot.
To get me a spot.
But at least for you knew there's some hope.
There was some hope, yes. Yes. And so you get your internship. And maybe one thing to point out is when you get an internship in such a way, this where you didn't go and apply for it or something, then it's important to go with your CV. Because normally it's a bit informal. Right? I could recommend you to a friend and he'll be like, okay, let him come in. And so the formalities that would normally be there before may not be there as much.
Yep.
But now for you to show a bit of
seriousness
and professionalism, you just want to make sure you have carried
your CV.
Just carry your CV. And even if they don't ask for it, just
leave it.
Present it to the person you're going to meet. And so that's how I started. It was not badly off. Because then I had a friend of mine who literally did not get an opportunity. And this is where now people are come and they want you to assist. But in what capacity are you to assist? Right?
Wait. Okay, since you're already in the system, they
Yes.
think that maybe you can pull a few strings for them.
Yes.
But within reality, the moment you're there, you're just like just a normal
You're
intern.
a normal, unless you have an opportunity, honestly, at times there isn't much you can do.
Your hands are completely tied.
Your hands are completely tied. And so for me, I started off with that internship, which was good. But at that time also, now other people whom you left campus with, you would hear, so and so already got a job because, maybe their parents had a connection somewhere and they're earning more than what? More than 50K. That was a lot.
Yeah, 50K.
For your first job, and you're earning what, 70, 80?
That was in 2016. Yeah, 2016, 50K is quite something.
50 going up for your first job. No experience.
Soft life.
Man, you're good.
Hey.
You're good. And it's interesting, you would find people now in town, because you're all over, looking for opportunities, right? And you would spot somebody, and you do not want to lock eyes. And neither do they want. Because like life is hard. The struggle is there. And that's what they don't tell you about campus. There are people who are sorted.
When you meet up, the first question is, so what do you do? What do you do these days? And you're like, I'm just trying, blah blah blah. And then they're like, I got a job at this company.
Yeah.
It's been now 4 months. Then you start feeling like a failure immediately.
Yes. Yes. And so it's when you're in campus, it's just knowing that there are people who are in campus and they know after this they are going into family business. After this, my parents knows a place or two. But then now they are very honest. So I'm done campus, let's do what? Let's look for a job.
Starting from scratch.
You're starting from scratch.
And I think that is where we get it all from. Because let's say for instance we are studying the same course, me and you.
Yeah.
Then my dad maybe has let's assume it's just media. He has a connection with maybe someone like Kimathi.
Yeah.
Then you're there, your dad does not even know anything about the media industry. So if you try and compare us both, it doesn't make sense. It's not logic. Because
you're not playing on fair grounds. Yeah.
For me, I have quite a head start. Then for you, you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So
and it makes a whole lot of difference.
That's one thing I think when one is in school, that's one thing we never understand. Because you think that you're all going to start on the same ground.
Yeah. And it's never the case. And so for me, I did my internships, but they would, 3 months, you're done. Okay, what next? You're looking for a job, right?
Yeah.
So now I continued to send my emails. Send emails. When you're done with school, any job, you literally apply for
every job
that is out there. And so for me now, it started to get a bit frustrating because you really want to be doing something. But there's nothing to do.
So you went for internship for 3 months,
so I
no
did
extension.
3 months. There was no extension at that time. So now it was another period of my dad trying to talk to somebody else. And it's not that you're not applying, you're also applying, but nothing is coming up. And so eventually he did find somewhere else. But now the period before I moved to the other organization, you must be doing something, right?
Yep.
And so maybe a thing that you're done with campus, nothing is showing, so what do? Not a professional. Qualification. So that's when I had begun ACCA.
Ah.
Yes. And so this is just something you want to try and do to keep your mind preoccupied.
And at least give you like an added advantage.
Exactly. Exactly. And now the crazy thing is, you can get too preoccupied in wanting to earn that you are unable to focus on what at least you should be taking advantage of. Because at the time, I was getting support to study ACCA, right? My mom would pay for the fees, so all I needed to do is study. And I had all the time. But I can tell you for a fact, you read, it does not sink in. Like, you can't focus.
You're preoccupied with getting a
because
job.
you're too preoccupied in like, okay, it's fine, I'm reading, but I need to be doing something. And so I think for me that's another pointer that I would, and I think I also mentioned it to you. Anybody who is out there, there's nothing is given at the time, but somebody is supporting you to do something. Don't get preoccupied with the idea of wanting to earn if it is not working out that time.
Just do what is. Work with what you have.
Work with what you have. Because I really struggled. I did one paper, I remember I passed. The other one I was, literally you can't focus. You're too stressed. You you want a job. And
want to be independent,
you want to be,
you want to move out.
Plus, you already know the amount of investment that has gone into you going through high school, you going through campus. There's a pressure to feel that you need to be doing something.
Yep, I get it totally.
You get it. And so after that, after that is when now I got my other opportunity, also an internship. But now with ACCA also, it was a bit
hectic.
I had not done much, and so now I have gotten a job, right? So what did it do?
Disorient you.
Yeah, exactly. So now it became even
worse.
And many years down the line till now, I'm still struggling with ACCA. Surely.
You could have taken advantage of it.
I could have taken advantage of it back then and just use that time to focus and get done with it. And so now I shift into now this job, this internship.
The second one now.
The second one now. And the second one was intense. It was a bit far away. There's something, I don't know whether as an intern you have had people complain. You're an intern, but you're doing a job like a normal person would do.
True.
And you're the one who is running errands. All those small errands, you're the one who is
do this for me,
do this for me, take this there, I make this. And so I joined. I was very happy, I was very appreciative, but I also like to work. So I also put myself out there. But I remember now, being what? Exhausting also. But I was happy. At least
now you have something to do.
I'm doing something. And so I really gave my all in that job. Now, to an extent, I stayed for quite a while.
No, this one was not for 3 months.
This one, I think, and this could be legal because I don't know how long you should be in an internship position. It was almost heading to a year.
But people intern for a year plus.
Okay, yeah.
Because the organization that I went for internship, people will stay like for a year. Then after that, they will give you a job.
Okay.
So okay, don't know if it's legal, but considering you might be blocking others from getting that
opportunity. But
if you can, why not?
Why not? And so for me, I gave my all, and this organization had branches. So I was shifted from the branch. Now I went to head office. Yes. I got to work in audit. internal audit.
Which was what you wanted.
Always wanted. I worked for a while. But now the interesting thing that you will see happen in companies or in organizations. When I joined, there was a team of interns that I found, and they were working towards getting their degree. And so myself, here I am, and you already have a degree. But trust you me, that does not mean you're going to get the opportunity. And that team came, they finished the internship period, and they were absorbed in the company. And I was there.
So with the internship, with the organization, they had like a fair ground. But okay,
is it a fair ground, really?
You have another advantage, but you don't get the that's not a fair ground.
Because now you could be thinking, okay, fine, but I also qualify.
You're sure they had no connections in the,
Now that's a whole other difference. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't have. But it's also to say you will find yourself in situations where you think you qualify for something, but apparently you don't.
Goes back to the point we highlighted when we began. You feel like the organization owes you that position.
Yes.
Because why not?
Why not?
Then you realize that at times it does not work like that.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you could be in an organization, and I was there for quite a while, and when I think it was end of year, and end of year you get bonuses, and so they were calling interns to to do what? I think we were given a small gift, a small token, and I think we're also introducing ourselves. And so when you say you have a degree, and people are like, it's like nobody even ever recognized you had a degree. I don't know that. I'm just saying, a degree is not, it works, but there are situations where
it's not a direct ticket.
It's not a direct ticket to employment. But so if you're out of a job and if you're out of school, you happen to get an opportunity, my advice is go give it your all. Regardless. I used to do so much. And also the recommendation I got after I left, you could tell the person who wrote
they felt the impact.
Exactly. The person who wrote it, even now I go back and read it, and I'm like, yes, I did a good job, And so after that, I didn't have somewhere else to go, honestly.
So it has been 3 months, then close to a year.
Close to a year.
Internship, then you're out.
Then I'm out. And so at this point, I am getting, and so maybe on the point of give it your all. So I was still looking for a job, and we happened, a colleague happened to have a wedding, which I was invited to. And so when I went, I met the company secretary at the time, and she was aware I had not gotten a job yet, but she was willing, and she was like, okay, fine, I could talk to management and we could have you back.
As an intern?
Yeah. We could, yeah. No, this is not a position you have to apply. Just come work as you get somewhere else. And so you see the confidence the person has to recommend you to talk to somebody who obviously has management. And they are okay to have you back. That is something.
It says a lot.
It says a lot. And so after that, now that's when I'm doing my emails, and I'm getting a few responses.
At least know there's some hope.
There's some hope. Because I remember the frustration being, whatever you're saying, like, I wish there was a way you could tell somebody has read your CV.
Yeah.
Because you never know, they never respond.
You're in the dark the whole time. You're like, whatever, man.
You don't even know where you stand at this point. And so I started getting, I regret there. The first time it was not so bad. And I was like,
at least you're responding.
At least somebody read it. And after that, Now then I got another regret.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, now that one was just frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I think that time I cried because I was
Mhm.
like, okay, now like
You're responding, but
you're responding, but
not
why
the way I want
can't
you to
you
respond.
why can't you just choose me? Like, I know I have not worked before.
But they come to think of it. By now, you have the experience that
You have
most companies
exactly.
because they normally say maybe 1 year,
1 year,
6 months, 1 year.
Yeah.
You've already worked for 3 months.
Yes.
Then there's this close to 1 year. Let's give it 9 months. That's like a whole lot. 12 months.
Yeah.
A whole year actually.
And I'm like, you should meet me.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I like to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I like to work.
I'm a team player.
I'm a team player. I will put in the work. Why don't you just give me a chance? No, this way now it starts to be frustrating. Completely frustrating now. Because, okay, what am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do?
It's like I've been, my whole life
Yeah.
I've been doing everything my whole life to get to this point.
Now
Then you're
I am
telling
here.
me that I can't.
And so it was
Demoralizing.
and now it brings me to my next point. Now when you don't have a say or power in something, at times you have to swallow your pride. So you remember the first organization I had joined before, where I did for 3 months. So my dad was like, okay, you know what, I could ask the same organization if you can go back. Now you can imagine walking back. You left this place, it's been a year, and you're going back as what?
An intern.
As an intern.
Let's call it the walk of shame.
Like, it took a lot.
Because of course by the time you're out, of course you know you've left an impact.
Yeah.
So that can pride off. But they maybe I'm not going to the job market.
Me, I won't struggle.
And I'm going to a better place than this organization. So, and maybe you had mentioned it to someone in the company.
No good thing. Personally, the introvertedness in me and the fact that I had only stayed for 3 months, I didn't get to be really close. But you can imagine, you're walking, and I also got to work in the internal audit department, which I liked, right? But what does that say? You're meeting the same team that was there. So 1 year down the line, here you are. And you go back. And you take the opportunity, because there's nothing.
Your hands are tied.
Your hands are tied. There's nothing much you can do. So you work as you continue to send emails and all that. And now what happened after that? I got, there was an opening. I was shortlisted, and we were supposed to do the psychometric, that's what they call them, tests. Yeah. Some organizations, they will give you like a math test, English, I don't know. They have a name. Organizations that have levels before you can actually do a physical interview. So I was shortlisted, went, did my essay. It's normally maths. I know there's calculation and there's a bit of, you're given a case study and you're supposed to respond. You're given, I'm going to look for a name for it. It has a name. And so I did that. And another mistake that you do not want to do is, you have been shortlisted for a job, you go with this CV, the one you applied with, then on the physical day, you go with a different template.
You've tried to like fine-tune it.
Because when I look back, I feel like that is what made me lose
the opportunity.
the opportunity at that point, because remember you're quite a number of people. So I think you just should be consistent. And the thing about if you have stayed out long enough without a job, you know you have written like 10 CVs with different templates. Because
You're a pro at it.
because you're trying to see, okay, this when I use this, nobody's responding. So there's something wrong with my
CV.
something wrong with my CV. So let me try another aspect. Try another template. Try another template. And so I think you do not want to make a mistake of submitting 2 different CVs, same content but 2 different templates. Just stick with one.
You mentioned that, I think, a few days ago. Then you told me it's just that your CV has not landed on the right person's desk. It's not that it's bad. It's just that it has not landed on.
Yes, a colleague of mine, because what happens when you're not getting feedback, you keep thinking the CV is wrong. And it could be, but most of the time, there's nothing wrong with it. And so that colleague of mine was trying to tell me, you do not have to keep amending the CV.
You may end up destroying it.
Exactly. So you just want to trust, just try to match your roles with the job that you're applying for. Because at times you amend it so much that it loses
It's relevance.
exactly. So
Nice.
so that's what happened. I didn't get that opportunity.
So back to the drawing board again.
So now you're back to the drawing board. And so for me, how I got my first job is I was doing ACCA, and this is also another suggestion. If you are out, nothing is working at the time, but you have some support, find an institution, go do a course. And while you're at it, so you know how schools say there's a department, there's somebody who helps look for jobs, something. There was a department, there was somebody, there was a department like that. The same way you join campus and they say you look for internships for our candidates. You want to hold institutions to what they say. So an institution says, oh, after graduation we help our students look for internship. Okay, I'm here, I'm done.
I need an internship.
Help me now. And so when I joined, I was studying at Oshwan. When I joined Oshwan, they said you can drop your CV by email. There was a department, somebody who was looking into that. And so what I want to believe is some companies would look for people and they would give their requirements to this person or to this institution. Then the institution would help the organization find people. Because if you're doing, say, like a professional qualification, that is what organizations want, right? They could be looking somebody who's starting out, somebody who's almost done. And so for me, I submitted. So you're in class one day, the teacher comes in, the lecturer, and he's like, okay, there is a position at so-and-so, audit firm, and they're looking for people. If you're interested, kindly let me know. I was very excited. I was like, okay, maybe now it's happening. So I submit my name, and they just go silent. No response, completely. So I just kept at it. Now you're studying. Now the next minute, somebody comes in, the lecturer comes in, there is like, no, actually that second time, he didn't. I think because I had already submitted my name the first time, he just submitted it. And so when I'm at home, I just get a call. Would you be available to come at so-and-so? What is the job about? Accounts receivable. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And just like that is how I got my job. Yeah! And anything. It's not that they have what? You have the requirements. You don't, literally, you just know, you have a rough idea, but you don't know. But
at least you're ready.
But Oshwal had already, the CV, my CV, they had already presented it to the organization. So the next morning, have you been preparing for an interview?
Not really.
At this point,
your focus has been on school.
Exactly. And you almost gave up on it. Do you have clothes?
Nope.
Not really.
The corridor clothes for class.
So now I just had a black skirt. I looked for a top I had somewhere. You wake up in the morning because they wanted it a bit urgent. So can you come in tomorrow? I'm like, yes.
Why not?
Do you know where the place is? No idea. And so, but I showed up, interviewed, and for me, that's how I got
my your first job. Through Oshwal College.
Through Oshwal College. And so for me, my advice is, let's hold institutions, take advantage when an organization says it will do something.
You know, that's actually the first organization
Please just make the move, give your CV.
And try and hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Because these institutions where they say, oh, we'll help you find an internship, a job, but in real sense, they don't have the connections. They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
It was just something to, to pull you through.
Yeah, and
like a community trap.
Like a bait or something. But also what I came to notice, if that department or that person has been entrusted that role, somehow their performance is what? Gauged. Could be one of the KPIs. So I mean, why not? Right?
So at least now you have a job.
So now that's how I got a job.
And still doing ACCA at all.
Still doing ACCA. And so for me,
from there it has been like an upward trajectory.
Has it been? You almost feel like you stagnate at some point. But at least you're somewhere.
At least you're doing something.
At least you're somewhere. At least your CV has something, right?
And again, your experience is also
growing. But I know the expectation after campus, you also have to prepare yourself mentally.
To be ready for any outcome.
For any outcome. Not everybody has it rough. Some people have it easy.
It's actually funny, you graduate today and the following week someone has a job.
Yes. And some people get a job.
And at times it's not even connections.
No.
At times people get, I don't know if we call it favor.
They just have
we just say it's luck. But some people start working before you. Maybe you're in that year, maybe the final year, but someone has a job.
They have a job, and
they've been applying. Then after graduation, they were just told you just needed to graduate. Then
that's it. And nobody. It's not to say that you will struggle. Not everybody has it the rough way.
But I've heard stories of people who have even a master's, but they
still don't have a job.
Honestly, before you thought that, as long as you have the papers, it's like a direct ticket. Until you get out and realize that by the way, it's just like survival for the fittest. You get lucky.
It is, and the worst thing about it, I know for myself, it gets to a point, even whatever you had studied, you start to feel like you don't know. I did accounting, and you're like, okay, now all that whatever it is that we studied, can I even remember? Can I even apply? Can I even? Right? And so it's you also want to, because it's a very good point you mentioned, as we were just talking about it yesterday, you also want to start forming habits, forming a routine. You need to check your mental health, because you could go crazy. Okay, you won't go crazy.
No,
But it can be
actually
depressing.
you can actually go crazy because
It can
of
be
this.
depressing. It can be very
Man,
depressing.
we all know that everyone wants independence.
Yeah.
You want a situation where you don't have to call your mom or dad because you want a ticket for a certain concert.
Yes.
Or maybe you are just talking in town.
Yeah.
You get to a shop, unaona kiatu kali. You
And
don't
you
have
want
to.
to be able to purchase.
At times you just don't. There's a lot of things you want to do for yourself, and there's also this thing of giving back. I hear people calling it black tax, but for me it's just like giving back. For me it's not black tax if they are not asking for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you also want to at least
support here and there, be able to do 1, 2, 3.
maybe your mom tells you, do you want to do some renovations here, and then you're like, okay, maybe this 5K can.
Yeah, it can come through for you. And
something like that. There's just something with independence. There's this craving for independence, and it can drive you crazy.
It can. And
because
you can be depressed.
You want to go for an interview, you have to ask for the money
Yeah.
to buy the clothes.
Or even fare.
And okay, I think for us we are lucky. Our parents have not gotten to that point, but I've heard of people where your mom and dad, they're like, okay, we've played our part. You're not playing your part. Clearly, you're not playing your part. Why?
You're not putting in the work.
Because you spend the whole day in the house.
Yeah.
At times they don't understand that the power lies here.
On the phone.
Exactly.
You don't have to be out of the house.
They see you swiping.
Yeah.
At times you are looking for the jobs, at times you are sending the emails, but they are just like, kazi yake tu ni social media. For us, lucky.
Yeah.
Because also for me,
we have had support.
Because for me, at this point, my mom, my dad, they've not gotten to that point of, okay, we played our part. Clearly you're not playing your part. But I know of people, even some friends, where their parents are just like, okay, you spend the money.
Yeah.
Hata wewe, sasa
go do something.
Go do your part.
Go do something. And so you want to check your mental health. You want to be doing something even as you wait. If it's a skill you're developing, do it. Keep yourself busy. If you have family business, get involved.
Exactly.
Just don't allow your mind to just be idle.
And something I've also noticed with a lot of people is the moment you see like what you studied is not working, you can always find an alternative.
Correct.
It doesn't mean that just because you went and studied maybe, like for me, mass communication and everything, it doesn't mean that I have to do what I studied.
No, it's not a must.
You may find an interest, work on it, and it may end up being...
It could give you the breakthrough that you need.
Look at someone like Njugush. He did the same. Journalism and media. But look at him now. Skits, comedy, acting, but either way he's still learning. And I think he's earning more than he could have earned if he got absorbed into the system.
It's true. It's true. And another thing I know, there's normally a pride of I studied, I went to school, I got a degree, now there are jobs I can't do. Check yourself. You want to check yourself because Kiburi. Like you will have to swallow your pride at some point. But whatever decision you make, because it's also not to say that you can have. Let me give an example. When I did that internship, the long one, I left. Positions came up. And now these positions I knew I was in, since I had worked in the organization, you have an added advantage. But not the job position that was being advertised, I didn't want to do that job. And it was not a bad job. I won't mention it here. We will mention it somewhere else, right? And I remember being like, I'm not going to apply for that job.
No way.
I'm not going to apply for that job. And my colleagues back then, I remember there was a guy who, I think he was now pissed at me. You know?
At the organization?
Yeah. He was a friend of mine. But I guess it's the frustration of you don't have a job, you don't want to apply for this job because you don't like it. So the analogy
You
was
feel like it's below your...
not even below. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. But now his idea was, his thinking was, you could come do this job. Then, because you're in the organization, you can easily shift to a department you
love.
Which makes a lot of sense. But at the time I knew, do I really want to do that job? No. But now when I hit that block again, I remember telling Shrek was in the hospitality industry then. And I remember telling him, no, even if you find a job, housekeeping, please, come on, I will do. I'm okay. Sasa ni pale umefika rock bottom.
Point of no
you
return.
will do anything, you know. And so you want to try anyway. At some point you could have to swallow your pride a bit. At times, whichever decision you choose to go, like I chose not to apply for that job, right? Chances are I could have gotten it. And I chose not to. So now you have to be prepared to live with the repercussions of that. So now it's not like you're sitting and complaining, I do not have a
job.
Yet there was
An opportunity.
So whatever decision you choose to go with, just be sure you can live with the
consequences
that come with it. Yeah. But
nice. It's not easy.
It's not easy. And we focus too much on, some people are entrepreneurial in nature. And so when you're coming out, you also want to think all around. I could do black and white, they call them black and white jobs, white collar jobs. You want to work in an office, but you also have to start thinking, how can I apply this elsewhere? Because we can't all fit in
the offices. Yeah.
In the offices.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to graduate in June.
Yeah.
And in institutions there is a graduation like every year, right?
Yeah.
So I was just trying to think, okay, for those of us who studied this journalism and media thing in our school, we are quite a number. This USIU next to us, quite a number. You Thika Road, there's KU, there's the court, there's a lot of institutions.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay. So now you want all of you to be absorbed.
Yeah.
And then remember there was some podcast I was telling it, but it's not possible. And there's no way you will say, okay, we don't have the qualifications, this is what you do, we go to real media and tell us Kimathi and his team, now what we want you to do is do away with all of your stuff and take us in. Because that's the only way all of us can fit in the offices.
Yeah.
Which is not possible.
It's not possible.
So I think you just have to think out of the box.
Let's just It's tough. It's not easy.
You used to hear of cases of back home. At least nani wakina wamama nani. He's the most learned in this nini, but he committed. Okay, there was one who became a drug addict.
Yeah.
Then he committed suicide. I remember mom throwing praises all over him. He was the most learned.
Yeah.
He went to the local high school.
Okay.
He passed with straight A's.
Yeah.
He went to campus. He passed. Then afterwards, they were expecting like he will go get a job and everything, but now he has come back home. He has become an addict. Then he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And then there's the talk of mtu ni kama hakuwa nafikiri. But now I get it.
Yeah, it's
tough. It's tough. The T is for tough.
The T is for tough. And so maybe just to wind up. Yeah, to wind up, maybe we can just recap on the few things. The key pointers. One is avoid the temptation to get too preoccupied. If you're doing something, focus on it as you look for a job. Make sure you excel in it, right? Yeah. Don't get too preoccupied with earning. If there's somebody supporting you at the moment, take advantage. Take advantage of that. It does not come all the time. Take advantage of that. You will get the silent treatment. Your emails won't be responded to. You will have regrets.
Who will ask for your CVs?
People will ask for your CVs.
Even family members with connections.
But it may not turn.
They won't look at your CV by the way. So anytime you drop a CV, just know that it was just PR. Most of it is just PR.
Most of the time it is.
Send me your CV.
And most of the time, just apply. You never know. I know of a colleague who applied, who sent her CV, and she got the job 3 years later. Because 3 years they were looking for somebody. They went into their archives, the email, they saw somebody, they called up, are you still interested? And you get a job. So just don't give up. Continue sending. The regrets will come, the silence will be there, but somehow, at some point,
it will pay off.
It will pay off. Somebody's gonna look at it, right? And also, no harm in asking guys who have gone before you, elder brothers. I know that's what I did. Can you assist me with your CV? Let me see how you draft it, just to get an idea. Because some of the CVs I'm seeing can give you a shocker, especially when you're just out of school, because you have nothing to reference to. So, for instance, like myself, if you have people surrounding you that are, say, in the job market, ask them for their CVs, or ask them to help you draft your CVs, so that it has a bit of body, and it looks a bit
professional.
If you can join an institution, please do. Upgrade your skills, and when you're at it, keep looking. If they're saying they can offer something, please take it up to them, right? Put yourself out there. Actually, okay, fine, I did 1, 2, 3, but it didn't work out.
But at least you tried. No regrets. Form a habit. Come up with a routine. Healthy routines. We want you sane when you get your job, so that you're able to focus on the job you so wanted. So just have what? To-do list. Even if you're at home, right? Create your own routine.
Make you productive. Exactly.
Keep your mind running.
Exactly. It does pay off, right? And be consistent with your CV. I think what I meant is, when you apply for the same job, just take the same CV you went with. They liked you for that CV. Don't take a different CV.
A fine-tuned one.
I know even with jobs, there are certain jobs, they will ask you to online apply. So you apply, they have a template already in place. Yours is just to key in your qualifications and all. And so when you go to the next step, so say that's one submission, then another submission, you submit something different. Say you had worked, initially you said you had worked for 2 years. Now you're saying you have worked for 2.5. You get disqualified immediately.
Yeah, like it?
So just be very
consistent.
And the frustration will be there. It will be there. I know at some point I got a regret. I think it's that job, the one I had been pre-qualified, and then I got a regret. I remember writing to the HR. And these are things Joanne the career coach. You know Joanne the career coach?
No.
She's very popular on Instagram. She deals with CVs. Check her out also. She gives pointers on what you should do and what you should not do. At times, in that moment of frustration, I remember I wrote to HR. And I was like, okay, fine. Why didn't I get the job? Where should I improve? And many times they won't respond to that, right? They will say they have their own way of shortlisting. They won't tell you. They won't tell you why, right? And so the frustration could be there, but Don't give up. Don't give up.
Nice. That was. We hope you've learned a thing or two.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but
it's not easy.
we keep moving.
Yeah, and also you can let us know.
And it's a good time to be more innovative.
Yeah, it's a good time to be more
Even
innovative.
when still in school, you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Apart from what I'm studying.
Yes.
Or okay, I'm studying this. Maybe I can try and do this.
Yes. Actually, if you're in school, try get opportunities while you are still in school. Yeah.
It will be. You'll have given yourself the perfect head start.
Exactly. The moment you're going out, you're not starting from scratch. Yeah. So let us know, how was your experience after campus? Any pointers, any additions, any different views? And I wish I was hearing this before.
It would have helped a lot.
It would have helped a lot. Those moments where you're just back at your hostel, online, enjoying life, and you have all the time. Yeah, you could have done something. Right? And that's it for today's episode.
That was fun.
Yeah.
How long has it been? I don't know. I don't know how long it has been, but that has been fun.
It's been fun. It's been fun.
We hope you learned a thing or two.
Yeah.
We also talked about this on the Awesome Twosome podcast, so you can also go check it out.
Yes.
Remember to subscribe to Kimathi and Shulac, like, share, comment. So far, there's engagement in the comment section.
Yeah. Shout out. Shout out to
everyone who is engaged.
Yeah, who came through. And so shout out also to this place. Today we are at Sunrise Hotel. The space is amazing. It is very amazing. And in case you're in town, pop in.
Check them out.
Yep. Yes. And so follow us, myself at Purity at what's my Instagram again? Puri_Mbogo. The YouTube channel is also Puri Mbogo.
On Instagram, I'm at leumasshulac. Twitter, Son of Mbogo.
Yes.
But I think the Instagram is.
And also
enough.
follow the Awesome Twosome podcast. We
Yeah.
have conversations around these things, which I feel it's a good thing, right?
They're quite impactful.
It's impactful.
And we also learn a lot as we
move along life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for staying to this point. I feel like it's going to be a long video, but thank you for sticking along. And
we'll see you next.
We'll see you in the
next episode.
yeah. Bye.
Yes.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
No.